Your favorite snacks are about to change forever. That fiery red glow of Flamin Hot Cheetos, gone. The neon green blast of Mountain Dew, fading. Even the rainbow in your bag of Skittles could look more like muted pastels. Why? Because the FDA just announced it's phasing out petroleum-based synthetic food dyes, and this could be the most dramatic shakeup in the American food system in decades. But here's the thing. These dyes have been in our food for over 50 years, so why the sudden crackdown now? Let's rewind. Artificial dyes like Red 40, Yellow 5, and Blue 1 aren't just ingredients, they're chemical colorants derived from petroleum. They're used in processed foods to create vibrant, flashy colors that make products stand out on store shelves. For decades, they've been the secret sauce behind every glowing snack, colorful cereal, and eye-catching soda that grabs your attention and your appetite. But increasingly, science and public concern have been raising red flags. FDA Commissioner Marty Makary didn't hold back at the press conference. For the last 50 years, American children have been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals, and he's not alone in this concern. A 2007 Lancet study linked artificial food dyes to increased hyperactivity in children. Other reports suggest potential links to behavioral issues, allergic reactions, and even cancer. Red Dye 3, which the FDA recently banned for use in foods by 2027, has already been shown to cause cancer in lab animals. So why was it allowed in candy and baked goods for so long? The FDA's move isn't just a change in labeling. It's a cultural turning point. It signals that health advocates may finally be winning a decades-long battle. But it also reveals how slowly regulatory systems move, especially when big industry profits are involved. Critics say this decision is overdue. For years, the United States has allowed additives that are restricted or outright banned in Europe and Canada. In those regions, food companies have already replaced synthetic dyes with natural ones like beet juice, paprika, spirulina, and turmeric. But here in the States, the switch hasn't been easy or popular. Take General Mills, for example. In 2015, they removed artificial dyes from Trix cereal, replacing them with natural alternatives like radishes and purple carrots. The result? Sales dropped. The colors weren't as bold, and customers missed the iconic look. Within 2 years, the original version with synthetic dyes was back on shelves. So what makes this moment different? Politics. Under pressure from consumer advocates and the Make America Healthy Again initiative led by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the FDA is now fast-tracking reforms once thought politically impossible. Makary even encouraged companies to switch to natural alternatives like watermelon juice, carrot extract, and beet concentrate. Still, challenges lie ahead. Synthetic dyes are cheap, effective, and consistent. Natural alternatives can vary by season, batch, and origin. They're also more expensive to produce and harder to stabilize, especially in mass manufacturing. The FDA insists this change won't spike food prices, but manufacturers warn otherwise, citing global supply chain constraints and higher ingredient costs. For parents, this might feel like long overdue progress. For companies, it's a looming logistical nightmare. For consumers, it's a massive shift in how their food will look, and maybe even how it tastes. The bottom line, this isn't just about color. It's about health, regulation, and what we're willing to accept in our food. The dyes are disappearing, but the ripple effects are just beginning. If you're wondering how the food industry reacted to the FDA's dye ban, here's the short answer: panic, spin, and scrambled meetings. Some of the biggest names in food, PepsiCo, General Mills, Mars, and WK Kellogg, are now facing a massive reformulation challenge. These aren't just tweaks. They're about to redesign products that have been bestsellers for decades. And they're doing it under a tight deadline with intense public scrutiny and a political movement breathing down their necks. Just weeks before the announcement, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. told the heads of these companies that removing artificial dyes was a top priority of the Trump administration. Behind closed doors, he delivered a blunt message. This isn't just about food, it's about the health of a generation. And with him were the so-called Maha Moms, the driving force behind the Make America Healthy Again movement. These are the same activist parents who protested outside Kellogg's headquarters last year, waving signs that read, "Stop poisoning our kids and no more Red 40. They've teamed up with well-known figures like Vani Hari, aka the Food Babe, who has successfully pressured companies like Kraft Heinz in the past to drop synthetic ingredients. For them, this is a long-awaited win. Their campaigns have spanned social media, petitions, and even congressional lobbying. But inside boardrooms, there's a different mood, worry and resistance. The International Association of Color Manufacturers says there simply aren't enough natural alternatives to meet the demand. Some natural dyes are already imported from countries like China, India, and Mexico, and scaling up will take years. Then there's the taste and texture factor. Food companies remember what happened in 2015 when Kraft Heinz changed its iconic mac and cheese to match its European version, using natural colors instead of synthetics. It was quiet, there were no ads, no public announcement, and it worked, but that's rare. In contrast, General Mills tried to swap out the dyes and trick cereal and got burned, badly. The version with turmeric and radish wasn't as vivid, kids didn't like it. Parents missed the original. The result? Sales plummeted, and just 2 years later they brought back the artificial dyes, loudly. So what's the big deal with color anyway? Color is emotional, it's branding, it's identity. That bright red in Flamin Hot Cheetos, it screams spicy before you even take a bite. Skittles without the rainbow, that's just sugar pellets. Food marketers have spent billions convincing you that bright equals delicious. Now they have to convince you that duller, earthier tones are just as tasty. Some manufacturers are leaning into transparency. They're planning redesigns that embrace muted tones and labels that say, colored with beet juice or naturally tinted with turmeric. Others are hoping customers won't notice or care. But there's a deeper confusion brewing. What even is natural anymore? Is a crushed beet really better than a lab-tested dye that's passed decades of regulation? Some scientists argue that synthetic dyes, though imperfect, are more consistent and sometimes even safer than the unpredictable nature of plant-based alternatives. Still, the momentum is undeniable. Europe has done it, Canada has done it, US parents are demanding it, and now the government is forcing it. This isn't just a shift in ingredients, it's a culture war over what's on our plates. And no one, neither the companies nor the consumers, knows exactly how it's going to end. So now that the FDA is banning petroleum-based dyes, what does this mean for you, the person standing in the snack aisle trying to decide if those fruit snacks are still the same? In short, your food is about to look different, taste slightly different, and maybe even cost a bit more. By the end of next year, foods using synthetic dyes like Red 40 Yellow 5 and Blue 1 will start disappearing from shelves. Expect to see labels that say things like colored with carrot juice or contains natural colorants from beet extract. But don't be surprised if your favorite treats look a little duller. That shocking orange in your Cheetos? Probably going to lean more peach than lava soon. You might also see foods with shorter shelf lives. Synthetic dyes are stable. They don't fade easily under light or heat. Natural dyes, not so much. They can fade, change tone, or even look different from batch to batch. For consumers, this might feel strange at first, but it's part of a larger trend towards less processed, more transparent foods. And there's the bigger question, will food prices go up? The FDA says no, but industry experts aren't convinced. Synthetic dyes are cheap, consistent, and require tiny amounts. Natural alternatives are more expensive to grow, harvest, and process, and you need more of them to get the same color intensity. The National Confectioners Association warns that finding viable substitutes will take time, research, and investment. Still, not every food brand is fighting the change. Some, like McCormick, see this as a business opportunity. The flavor and color giant has reported a noticeable increase in requests from companies looking to reformulate their products, not just to remove dyes but to clean up entire ingredient lists. Consumers are paying attention. According to a recent survey, over 60% of parents say they'd prefer snacks with natural coloring, even if it means paying a little more. And that's why this isn't just a regulatory decision, it's a consumer-driven movement. This change reflects a broader cultural shift toward questioning what's in our food and demanding better from companies. But let's be clear, this won't solve America's nutrition crisis overnight. Artificial dyes aren't the only problem in our food supply. They're not even the biggest one, but they are symbolic. Bright, flashy reminders of how far the food industry will go to make products look appealing. Removing them sends a powerful message about prioritizing health over marketing, and this decision is just the start. RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again platform is already targeting other ingredients, preservatives, excess sodium, even sugar content. Of course, not everyone's on board. Critics argue that banning dyes without airtight scientific consensus is political theater. Others say it's an overreaction, pointing out that many synthetic dyes have decades of safety data. But for parents worried about hyperactivity or consumers tired of long ingredient lists, this move feels like progress. Even symbolic changes can create momentum, and this one already is. The next time you walk through the grocery store and notice your snacks looking a little pale, that's not a mistake. That's the future of food. Less artificial, more intentional, and maybe, just maybe, a little healthier. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you. If you want more breakdowns like this on food policy, ingredients, and health trends, hit that like button and subscribe for more clear, science-backed content coming your way.